Good evening, basketball fans, and welcome here to beautiful Manila, Philippines. We're live at the MOA, the Mall of Asia, for this game, a Group E fixture, the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers between our hosts, Gilas Pilipinas, and the visitors, Hong Kong. Well, again, Gilas Pilipinas making history the other night with an emphatic victory for the first time in their history against New Zealand. They won on this floor by 4 points, while Chinese Taipei picking up a big victory as well against Hong Kong China. And at the moment, Hong Kong China need to get something from this game. Well, this indeed is the second window of the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, and as you can see, undefeated Gilas Pilipinas looking to finish this window with a perfect 4-0 start. But Hong Kong China will definitely come here with something to say about that. The other game will be going on tomorrow. We'll see Chinese Taipei taking on New Zealand. But again, the fact today you have to remember, if Hong Kong China loses, Gilas win, and then tomorrow New Zealand wins, indeed Gilas will book their tickets to Saudi Arabia this summer for the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup. Well, now we're going to introduce some of the key players here from Hong Kong China. Of course, remember the last time these two teams did meet, it was indeed a 30-point victory for Gilas Pilipinas. Well, there's Duncan Reed, one of the familiar faces of Hong Kong China. Man who did have just 10 points in the last game against Chinese Taipei, and he's going to have to match up against the likes of Kai Soto and Junma Fajardo. Well, now indeed we will introduce the key players for Gilas Pilipinas. Hong Kong China, coached by Wing Lung Cho, a man who did start as head coach of Hong Kong University's national team back in 2011. But his counterpart tonight, Tim Cone, Barangay Ginebras #1, will try to lead this team to a perfect 4-0 start. Well, a little bit of history with Gilas Pilipinas, which was formed in 2007, but the Philippine national team program has always been a top team in the FIBA Asia Cup. Go back to the very beginning. The FIBA Asia Cup began in 1960, and it was hosted in this city of Manila, in which Gilas, not only did they win the opening FIBA Asia Cup, but they won 4 out of the last 7. The last time the Philippines won a FIBA Asia Cup was in 1985 against Korea in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. But now, basketball fans, we will indeed stand for the national anthems of these two beautiful countries, Hong Kong China and Gilas Pilipinas.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those who are able, please rise for the national anthems of both teams. First, the national anthem of Hong Kong China. Please remain in your places for the national anthem of the Philippines.
The national anthems of these two beautiful countries have been sung, and now players and coaches will shake hands, pay each other homage, as now we're just moments away from tip-off for this big game of the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers between Gilas Pilipinas and Hong Kong China. Well, now we're going to get set to introduce three very important people for tonight's game, and we're very proud to say we have three of the very finest referees. Well, our referees are coming from Japan and Singapore. From Japan, we have Takaki Kato. We also have Haruga Iwai, and also from Singapore, we have Chun Wing Leong. Well, our technical delegate and commissioner tonight is Sanao Bendeke. Well, there are our three referees, three of the very finest. Takaki Kato this summer was out the Basketball Olympics in Paris. And he's also refereed at the FIBA Basketball World Cup in 2023 here in the Philippines.
From India.
Well, again, you go back to the last two games that these two teams had. Hong Kong, China, as we mentioned, a 30-point deficit against Chinese Taipei. Well, in that game, they were led by Oliver Hsu, the man that was born in New York City, played his university basketball at Rice, because has since played his pro career in Hong Kong. Well, 11 points just wasn't quite enough. Duncan Reed did chip in 8 points along with 6 rebounds. And tonight, the challenge only gets tougher. You got to match up with Kai Soto. Then, of course, Japath Aguilar, and even the Kraken. The greatest player in the history of the Philippine Basketball Association, Jumar Fajardo. Well, now we will take a look at Hong Kong, China's starting five, and I just imagine we'll probably see Duncan Reed try to match up with the size. Well, Duncan Reed will be along with Yip Yuapong, Tsai Choi Kwan, and Oliver Hsu, the Rice University alumni. Well, Leung Shou Hua will also be in the starting lineup. And of course, they're going to need a very, very big performance from their team tonight if they're going to come out with anything. Well, head coach of Hong Kong, China, Chiu Wing Leung, as we mentioned, he began his coaching career back in 2011 as the Hong Kong University national team coach, and then worked his way as an assistant with the national team here in the FIBA system. Well, of course, he knows this team, it's about continuing to build for the future. It's going to be a tough task. They've already seen that in the first window. Heavy defeat against Gilas Pilipinas at home in Hong Kong, China. But no time to look back. It's about looking forward. They got to play with flair, and they got to play with excitement. Well, Tim Cone's team made history the other night here in this arena, defeating New Zealand for the very first time. Scotty Thompson and Barangay Ginebra will be in the backcourt. Calvin Aftano will be the small forward in quite a big lineup. Look at that, Justin Brownlee at 3, and you got the Kraken, Jumar Fajardo, greatest player in the history of the PBA, who plays for San Miguel Beerman, and the man who's making noise across the world, one Kai Soto. The fans like to call him Kaiju. I like to call him Kaireem. Tim Cone, what a legend, a man who moved to the Philippines as a child, went to international schools and learned the local language of Tagalog, and of course now became one of the most infamous coaches in the history of the Philippine Basketball Association. When you think of Never Say Die, you think of Jaworski, but when you think of the greatest coaches, you got to put Tim Cone up there. Duncan Reed, through his Canadian heritage, did play I think it was 2 seasons at Guelph University in Canada, but didn't stay the final 4 years. He did come back to play his pro career. Now, he's also played in the Chinese Basketball Association and recently played with the former Bay Area Dragons, who emphatically represented the only foreign team in the PBA and the Commissioner's Cup back in 2022-23. So no doubt, Duncan Reed's gone up a few of these PBA players for Gilas Pilipinas. When you look at that assistant coach's staff, what experience. You got the great L.A. Tenorio and John Wachiko, one of the legends in L.A. Tenorio as a player. John Wachiko, one of the greatest coaches in the history of the Philippines. Well, Hong Kong, China just have to come here, and they just have to play as hard as they can. The key thing, try not to give up as many offensive rebounds. Transition defense has got to be the #1 thing that predicates their game.
Number 15, Jumar Fajardo.
But it's going to be a tough challenge. I mean, Gilas Pilipinas no longer looked at as a team with just one player. In the past, it was Andre Blatch at the World Cup. Of course, you saw how it went for Gilas Pilipinas, the great victory that they had against China. But now this is a team collectively made of great individuals playing from not only the PBA, the Japanese B-League, and the Korean Basketball League. Well, our official sponsor, the Tissot Countdown to Tip-Off, is underway, and they're letting you know we're now under 60 seconds. Well, basketball fans, it's now time to stand in a moment of silence and respect. Of course, the FIBA Asia Secretary General Dato Yeo Chu Hawk's significant contributions to the basketball federations. Well, our thoughts and respects go to the great Dato Yo Chu Hawk's significant contributions to basketball national federations. Well, basketball fans, in February 2024, all roads began for the 31st edition of the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup. Gilas versus Hong Kong, China. Well, that's one of the game plans we're going to see very early on. Gilas will try to throw the ball down low to Kai Soto. Well, any positive Hong Kong China can take away from this game is minimizing the amount of points they give inside the paint. It's a big Gilas lineup, no doubt. And now you can hear the Gilas fans rallying behind their team. Thompson fights Soto. Scotty down the middle. Kai, well, try to make a quick dump down pass to Juma Fajardo, but the Kraken wasn't ready. Well, Tim Cohn coaching some of his players in the PBA, the likes of Scotty Thompson and Japeth Aguilar, both Ginebra legends. As Brownlee comes up with a steal. Gilas looking for those first 2 points. There's the penetration, finds Soto, keeps it high, goes up. Kaiju gets it at one. He's going to the free throw line. Well, Kai Soto this season playing for the Koshigai Alphas in the Japanese B-League. The foul is on Oliver Shu. And that's the case there. Hong Kong, they've got to come and collapse. And I mean, it's a tough one to ask, but you've got to do something. You can't give away a foul like that, especially an at-one early on. Well, as mentioned with Kai Soto, he's unable to hit the three-point play. Now in his 3rd season playing in the Japanese B-League, where he's represented the Hiroshima Dragonflies, Yokohama B Corsairs, and this season, newly promoted Koshigaya Alphas. Hong Kong China go for an early three. Well, that was wide open, but again, they've got to make those. Of course, the Philippines. Well, nice backdoor plays. Finds Scotty Thompson, almost got it. Well, how rare is that to see Kai Soto throw a lob to Scotty Thompson, the former PBA most valuable player. Choi Kwan side now, giving this one up. Finding Leung Shio Wa, but it's going to be a traveling violation. Well, Hong Kong China can't afford to make those turnovers. They've got to ensure they take care of possession. Well, this beautiful arena, the Mall of Asia, was the venue for the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup Final, where Germany did defeat Serbia. Capacity crowd at 20,000 here tonight. Witness history the other evening when they defeated New Zealand. Now Brownlee finding Kai Soto. Soto fakes the pass. And that's going to be another foul against Hong Kong China. This time it's on Yip Yopong.
Hand check foul on number 35, Yip Yu Pong. That's his first personal foul.
Baseline possession to Gilas.
Hong Kong China. 14 seconds on the shot clock.
Thompson inbounds this one. Finding Calvin Oftana. Oftana looking down low, finding Juma Fajardo. Fajardo up against Duncan Reed. Makes a pass, finds Brownlee, three is up, no good. And now Hong Kong China, chance to push this one. And this is where they can get points. And if they can convert any missed shot, gaining a defensive rebound or any Gilas turnover into fast break points, that is going to keep them emotionally in this game. But you got to stop Kaiju. He's unable to finish. But Juma Fajardo following up. Well, that's 6'10" and 7'3". You've got to do something. You've got to put a body on both of them. Patient build-up now here from Hong Kong China. Another wide open look. Now they try another three. That one's up, and it's good from Oliver Shu. Well, New York City, born and bred, now representing Hong Kong China. Rice University. Trying to put on a bit of full court pressure. Fajardo going for a post-up again. Going back down low. Wow, it's going to be a 3-second violation. Yep. Juma Fajardo a little too casual inside the paint. Six-time champion of the Philippine Basketball Association, renowned for his entire career playing with. Well, there's a three-pointer by Oliver Shu. Tonight for Hong Kong China. Try to create as many high percentage looks from the three-point line. There's another one. This one's up, almost got it. Well, Kai Soto, no doubt he's going to sag off the defense if they're going to bring him away from the paint. Soto, heavily defended by Yip Yu Pong. Turns around. Another offensive ball by Jumar. Well, it's becoming second chance points here for Gilas Pilipinas. Hong Kong, China have got to figure this one out. They go for another three, and that one's good. Well, making 2 3-pointers early on. This time, Tai Choi Kwan, who did pick up. Well, didn't actually pick up a foul, excuse me, but something to build. Play-by-play here for Hong Kong, China. Jumar Fajardo finds Brownlee. Nice little give and go. The pick and pop is up. Smooth play. Oh, San Miguel Bierman showing the range from 15. And that's another penetration. Another wide open look. This is good. Another offensive board. Well, that's a good pass. Got no issues with that offense from Hong Kong, China. They got a penetration. He got a kick out. That's a high percentage. But look at here from Jumar Fajardo. 15. Look at the rotation on that by the 6-time MVP of the PBA. Well, that one doesn't go. Well, nice play down the middle. Now Brownlee will go to the free throw line. Well, correction, going back to Jumar Fajardo. He's actually an 8-time PBA most valuable player. Keeps on winning them. And a 10-time PBA champion, winning his first one in 2015. But here comes another Ginebra player who, unfortunately, just recently lost in the finals to TNT Tropangiga. But he did win a championship this summer in Indonesia when he played for Pelita Jaya, defeating Satria Muda in the IPL finals. Because Brownlee, along with his coach and teammates, making history as well. And although they didn't qualify for the Paris Olympics, they definitely went to Latvia this summer, the FIBA OQT, and they put the world on notice that they're a team to be reckoned with. So he makes a second one. We're under 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter. It's a 1-point ball game. Hong Kong, China looking to regain the lead. And that's going to be the first team foul against Gilas Pilipinas.
Hand check foul on number 18.
Well, that one's going to be called against Calvin Oftana.
Yes, his first personal foul, first team foul for the Philippines. Shot clock at 14 seconds.
Oliver Shu now finds a bit of separation. Nice little mid-range. Regaining the lead here for Hong Kong, China. Well, they know it's going to be a long uphill battle, but you got to credit every possession they're competing. It's been a tough FIBA Asia Cup qualifying journey for them so far, Hong Kong, China. Tana goes baseline. Heavily defended by Tai Choi Kwan. Rebound's been secured, and now Hong Kong, China looking to extend. Duncan Reed running down the middle. They almost throw it away, but Brownlee just gets a fingertip as it goes out of bounds.
17 seconds on the shot clock.
Shu inbounds this one. Tai coming off another screen. Finds Duncan Reed. This is good passing. Now they get another three. Well, that's a good look. Well, so far, you can see the field goal percentage. Hong Kong slightly better. Brownlee down the middle, goes in. Well, nice smooth play by JB down the middle. As he regains the lead slender here for Gilas Pilipinas. Goes pick and pop. Duncan Reed doesn't take many threes. That's way off the mark. Brownlee throws ahead, finds Fajardo, goes in. Simple basketball exhibited by Gilas Pilipinas. That's the batting guy he never connection. It takes a deflection, goes out of bounds. Well, Robert Jaworski would say, never say die on this one. Nice 1-2 between Brownlee and his Ginebra teammate. Look at this, JB down the middle. Smooth little finger roll in the end as he gets that one to drop. Fan favorite Morocco Bolts play here in the PBA. Chris Newsom and UAAP superstar Kevin Kimbao now. Highly big prospect for international basketball coming out of the Philippines. Just standing roughly 200 centimeters. Did feature for Gilas at the FIBA OQT this past summer. Another kick out. Probably should have gone for the three-pointer. It's good defense by Kim Bao. But Duncan Reed steps out of bounds, and unfortunately, it's another turnover for Hong Kong China. Well, nice little triangle offense exhibited. Scotty Thompson goes in, and Kyrie tips that one back in. Well, there you saw the triangle offense. The infamous Tim Cone style that he's exhibited with Barangay Ginebra in the PBA. And it culminated with the back door. But had to be finished by Kai Soto, who already has 4 points and 4 rebounds. Oh, it's a nice penetration by Oliver Shu, but he's unable to finish. Thompson down the middle, finds Newsom, goes in. And it's way too easy for Gilas Pilipinas. And Hong Kong China have to call timeout as they trail by 7 points with 3:28 to go here in the first quarter. Remember, a win today would put Gilas Pilipinas in pole position for qualifying, but they would still have to wait to find out if New Zealand would win tomorrow against Chinese Taipei. And a nice little finger roll there by Chris Newsom. Well, we're going to go down to the Hong Kong China bench. We're going to hear what their coach has to say, so let's listen in. I think the overall message from the Hong Kong China coaching staff is, look, if we miss buckets, if we miss three-pointers, layups, we have to sprint back. You can just see how deadly Gilas Pilipinas are in transition. As I mentioned, this is no longer a one-man team. For many years, it was the Andre Blatch talk, the Jordan Clarkson talk, but now, of course, you got to put in the likes. Dwight Ramos, Chris Newsom, Kai Soto, Justin Brownlee. Everybody plays a part in this team. Pulling up from mid-range. Duncan Reed, offensive board, gets swiped. Good hands by Scotty Thompson. Here's where Hong Kong China's got to get back. If they don't get back in time, it's going to be a problem. Oh, my Lord. Well, the tip-in, still no good. But in the end, that just isn't fair. Well, Hong Kong China prevented the alley-oop. Kevin Kim Bao came in. And then who's going to box out Kyrie Soto? Third time lucky. Or maybe fourth time. Well, that was Kim Bao, and that probably, no, that's Soto, excuse me, but that whole situation could have been prevented had somebody put a body on Kevin Kim Bao. It's Kai Soto. They weren't quite sure if he was going to be available for the window, as he did pick up that minor injury in his last game for Koshigaya Alphas in the Japanese B-League. But Soto continues to prove the doubters wrong. Well, checking into the game now. Mako Leung Kao Hin here for Hong Kong China. Coming out of the game, Oliver Shu. And really quickly, within under 2 minutes, it's already become a double-digit lead for Gilas Pilipinas. Hong Kong China needs some spark in their offense. Chung Tsun now going down the middle. Nice little teardrop. Again, another good look. But now they got to get back. Newsom trying to push full steam ahead. Newsom all the way, goes in, coast to coast, simply unstoppable. Well, Morocco Bolt superstar showing that he can dominate the international game. It's Mako Leung kicking this one out, finding Duncan Reed. Well, nice play going down low again, gets rejected. Kai Soto said, not in my house. What a denial. Soto now looking for Brownlee. Brownlee goes in. Can't finish this one. 12-point deficit. They've got to find something. Patient passing. Well, they got a wide open shooter in the corner. They don't get the ball to him. Ricky Yang was wide open. Experienced player here for Hong Kong, China. Well, now they get it to him a little bit too late. Well, no problem. Ricky Yang sinking the deep corner three-pointer. Of course, many of these Hong Kong, China players do play for Hong Kong Eastern in their domestic league. Finds Soto, catches under the basket, goes in. Gets fouled, he'll go back to the free throw line. Well, the foul is going to be called against Hong Kong, China's number 13, Park Yuen-Yung.
First personal foul. Substitution for the Philippines. Shooting two, Kai Soto.
Well, Soto currently at the free throw line here for Gilas Pilipinas. Because he made his debut in the Japanese B-League back in 2022-23 when he played for the Hiroshima Dragonflies. Right now, they do need him to be very healthy going into this summer's 2025 FIBA Asia Cup. Now, remember, they still have to qualify. Because last season playing for Yokohama, he did average 12 points and 6 rebounds. He spent 2 years playing in the Australian NBL with the Adelaide 36ers. 10-point ball game. Looking for Duncan Reed, but you can see Justin Brownlee making it difficult. Hong Kong, China, another three. Well, that's a good look, but again, not going to drop. It's Brownlee looking to bring this one up. Defended by Duncan Reed. Soto in the paint. Goes in, tip-in's good. I think that one was by Kevin Kimball. Well, the young fella showing a little bit hunger at the moment. Just wanting it a little bit more than everyone else. Now, if Hong Kong, China are smart, they'll go for a 2-for-1. Yang makes a bit of oh, no. Oh, it's on the foul. I thought a referee, Takaki, look at this. Watch Kimball. Young players watching. You want to make it to the pros, you've got to go in for second chance points. They say rebounding is a will, not a skill. And all it took was a fingertip from Kevin Kimball. Well, Kai Soto's going to go to the bench, take a breather. Checking back into the game is the Kraken, Juma Fajardo. Going down low, goes in, gets rejected. Well, the great wall of Barangay Ginebra protecting the paint. And now Kyle Tamayo in the corner, the only player who plays in the Korean Basketball League. Fajardo with the putback. Hong Kong, China have numbers. Here's where they got to capitalize. Well, Yang wide open. He's made 1 3, and he makes another one. And that's where they've got to be clinical. Well, Newsom's got to go quickly. Not a lot of time left. I don't think he knows. Newsom puts it up from the half court. Oh, almost got it. Well, basketball fans, at the end of the first quarter, it is Gilas Pilipinas who lead this one by 9 points, 25-16 against Hong Kong, China in the 4th game of the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. The last time these two teams met was in the first window back in February, and it was Gilas who had an emphatic 30-point victory. Well, we're going to take a look at some of the key statistics so far from this game, and then we'll go look at the highlights. Hong Kong, China, 4 out of 11 from the perimeter so far, but haven't had a free throw attempt. 11 field goals for the Philippines inside the three-point line. Well, there are your stats. And momentarily, we're going to go back and look at some of the key highlights from the first quarter. Well, right from the get-go, you can see Gilas Pilipinas had one game plan. That was to go down low to the big fella, Kai Soto. And the first field goal of the game for Hong Kong, China coming from Lueng Xiuhua. But even Juma Fajardo, this is going to be a tough nightmare for Duncan Reed. I mean, Duncan Reed arguably is one of the greatest players in the history of Hong Kong, China. But he needs a little bit of help. And here was Brownlee going behind the back. JB off the disappointment of losing the PBA Championship Finals to TNT Chopangiga, but restored the euphoria with a win against New Zealand the other night. And that is as it's been so far here in the first quarter. Gilas Pilipinas leading 25-16 against Hong Kong, China. Well, basketball fans, download Courtside 1891 using that QR code to get the best streams, schedules, and scores on your smartphone, tablet, or Android. Remember, use that QR code and download Courtside 1891, the home of FIBA International Basketball. And while you're at it, make sure you download the official FIBA Asia Cup app. Use the app to follow from the qualifiers right up to this summer when we go to Saudi Arabia for the 31st edition of the FIBA Asia Cup. Competition at Gilas Pilipinas have indeed won 5 times. The last time was back in 1985 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, when they defeated South Korea in the finals. I think that may have taken the deflection, but no problem from downtown. 5th three-pointer of the game for Hong Kong, China. And now it's a 6-point deficit. Well, great job again by Leung Xiuhua. Gilas Pilipinas, of course, enjoying the hangover of the big victory against New Zealand as they turn it over yet again. And here comes Leung, one shot. Another 3 goes flying. This is incredible. Hong Kong are on fuego at the moment. Make it 6 threes. Well, 18 out of their 22 points have come from the perimeter. And hey, if that's how you're going to compete against the size of Gilas, as they come up with another steal, chance to tie the game up, maybe take the lead down the middle, goes in, gets fouled. And now Park Yuet-Young is going to the free throw line. Well, you can see a little bit of emotional and mental fatigue here from the Gilas Pilipinas players. There's a 3-pointer coming from Leung Xiuhua. And the other one coming from Marco Leung Ka-hin. Everybody getting in on the perimeter shooting tonight here. Well, he's unable to make the extraordinary one-handed free throw. But he'll be relatively pleased with his team's commitment so far. Again, it's always easy to build confidence when your team are hitting 3-pointers. As we mentioned, Hong Kong, China currently just under 50% from downtown, 6 out of 13. Well, he gets the second one. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Kim Bao, finding Tamayo. Again, just easy as that as it is. CJ Perez featured first time in a FIBA Basketball World Cup in 2019 for Gilas Pilipinas. Because they shared that group with Angola, Serbia, and Italy. Well, nice play. Might be one of the times Hong Kong, China's got to take a positive. A point just outside the paint on a penetration. And again, it's that man, Park Yuet-Young. 2-point ball game. Tamayo left wide open. Fires a 3. Well, he's made a few of those this season in the Korean Basketball League. Of course, left the Japanese B-League when he played for the Ryukyu Golden. That's going to be an offensive foul. And again, what a clumsy play. Great reaction by Chris Newsom, not to show it any energy whatsoever, but Chung Tsun, I don't know what he was thinking. Well, it's not that, I mean, the elbow does come out. Well, it's not as bad as it originally looked, but again, very unnecessary. Especially when he had good position to try and get something off just right there in the paint. Just over 2 minutes played here in the second quarter. Fajardo spins, bumps, goes in. Juma Fajardo, the Kraken, and he goes to the ground. Well, the greatest player in the history of the PBA. Hong Kong, China. That 3's not going to go. Well, that was Ricky Yang looking for his 3rd tray ball. Another foul is going to be called. It's on the ground. That's going to be the 2nd team foul against Hong Kong, China.
Holding foul on number 13, Park Yuet-Young. That's the 2nd personal foul. 2nd team foul for Hong Kong, China. 16 seconds on the shot clock.
Perez finding Newsom in the corner. The man who made the big 3-pointer against New Zealand and continuing to get right back where he left. Well, that was a huge 3 that he hit that kind of sealed the deal for Gilas Pilipinas. Back to a 10-point lead. Oh, again, nice backdoor play, but Ricky Yang was impeded by Kevin Kim Bao. That's only going to be the 2nd team foul against Gilas Pilipinas. So baseline possession coming for Hong Kong, China. Duncan Reed checking back into the game, the most experienced player for Hong Kong China. Still looking for his first field goal tonight. Well, it's actually a sideline ball, my apologies. Yang inbounds this one. Nice penetration by Ricky. Again, trying to go to Duncan Reed, but they turn it over. Well, what a pass. And again, that could have been a top finish. I mean, when you talk about Kevin Kim Bao, this man, it's almost like he sees everything a step quicker than everyone else. Well, Tim Coe might shake his head, but I'm loving the confidence from Kevin Kim Bao. Another missed three, but they come up with a 50-50. They'll try another one. There's the penetration, little teardrop. Oh, that's a good look, but they got to make those. Newsom looking to slow this one down, trying to get Gilas into that triangle offense. Juma finds Tamayo. Spins, twists, goes to the mid-range. Kyle Tamayo looking automatic early on. Well, great move by Tamayo, as we mentioned. 5 points already, second field goal of the night. Nice ball screen set by Duncan Reed. They don't get the ball to him. And now the three-point shooting has cooled down for Hong Kong China. Well, Perez just giving the crowd something worth their money's for. Fajardo goes baseline. Well, good help side defense. And that's the kind of defense we need to see from Hong Kong China. Chung Tsun coming over quickly, but look at this move by Tamayo. Nice high release, the cube rotation, just finding that separation, defended by Leung Xiuhua. Well, checking into the game at the moment here for the first time for Gilas Pilipinas. Indeed is Amos. Well, Mason Amos getting some good moments in the moments. Final seconds are on the shot clock. Brownlee down the middle. Nowhere to go. JB goes for a fadeaway. And Tamayo fighting for the offensive board. And right now, Kyle Tamayo, this man just wants it a little bit more than everyone else. And another timeout is going to be called by Hong Kong China. Well, that's a coach's dream right there. And there's a reason why he's an import player in the Korean Basketball League. Missed the attempt to tip in. Just shows a little bit of physicality. Don't get it Kyle Tamayo's way. That's bully basketball. Well, may have got away with a little push-up, but hey, it's a physical game. Welcome to Manila. Well, the timeout indeed was called to try and prevent the heavy bleeding. But, you know, here's the thing for Hong Kong China offensively. I mean, if they're going to go with volume three-point shooting, that's fine. But you got to make every effort to get back in your own paint and defend. The second thing is they're going to have to work 3 times as hard to try and prevent Gilas Pilipinas from getting any second chance points. It's a big ask, but hey, this is the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Nice penetration. There's a kick out. This is a good move now. Can they get this? That's not a bad offense. As Reed goes for post-up. And again, another good look. But you can't argue with those plays. Hong Kong China's got to keep on playing. Meanwhile, Gilas Pilipinas looking to further extend their momentum. Tamayo with a heavy post-up. Again, Kyle Tamayo, another offensive board. Are you kidding me? Well, don't get into a boxing match with Kyle Tamayo. This guy right now showing the supreme physicality. Well, nice penetration, gets the M1. And nice move in the end. Well, going to the free throw line here for the potential three-point play. Well, that is Sai Choi Kwan. That's his 7th point of the night. Right here, just getting CJ Perez to commit. finding that gap. And, CJ Perez is one of the best defenders you're going to find in the PPA. But again, look at Tamayo. Too big, too strong, and simply just too good. Well, Choi Kwan converts a three-point play. He's actually up to 6 points, as he has already missed 2 free throws this evening. Thompson playing point guard for Gilas. Amos setting the ball screen. Pops out to the three-point line. Front iron doesn't get it. Hong Kong China preventing Gilas from getting an offensive board. Well, it's the right idea, but just out of control, taking that one in transition. It's one of those where you cannot predetermine what you want to do. You got to read what the defense gives you. If you can go straight, go ahead. If you need to go for a Euro step, but you got to be able to make that decision in split time. Perez gets a switch on defense. Nice pass, finds Amos, gets rejected. Good defense. Well, what a nice pass coming from CJ Perez, but you got to credit the collapse defense from Hong Kong China. This is better ball movement. They go for a fadeaway shot and a big offensive rebound. The foul's going to be called on the ground, and it's plays like that from Yip Yopong. And credit the offense first. They got a ball screen, they got a ball reversal and a penetration, but those are the positives Hong Kong have got to build on. Remember, they've had a very tough journey as Carl Tamayo subs out of the game. Coming back in, it's Kai Soto. .349 to go. Baseline ball here to Hong Kong China. Reed setting another ball screen. Well, bit of a calamity there as now Scotty Thompson comes up with it. Perez pump fakes, steps back, goes for three. And that's not going to go. And again, Hong Kong China giving up too many offensive boards. Amos misses last one. Well, they're going to call a foul in the box out. This one's going to be called against Tsai Choi Kwan, number 27. That's going to be his first personal foul of the game. Brownlee finds Thompson. Kai goes up. Well, that's how you're going to have to unfortunately defend him, because the ultimate defensive game plan for anybody playing the Philippines is you've got to make Kai Soto work to cement position and get the ball in the paint. Once he gets it, I mean, he's such a very intelligent player, because he's always received a lot of criticism for not being strong enough. Well, I can tell you, I haven't seen him play in the Japanese B League for the last 3 seasons. The physicality is there. What Kai has very much developed is his ability to use his body to read post-interior defenders. Because the free throw shooting is something that has been an inconsistency, but I'm telling you right now, Kai Soto, the progression of this young man since leaving the Australian NBL to the Japanese B League has been monumental. But every great player does have an Achilles. Well, backdoor finds Brownlee, and that is way too easy. Hong Kong China's got to take a little bit more pride in their defense. And going out of control. And here comes Gilas, up by 15. Perez finds Amos. Down to Soto, little jump hook, and that was way off the mark. Well, they get the ball in the paint. Nobody going in for an offensive rebound, but that's going to be a goaltending violation because the basketball was within the cylinder on its way down. Now the official rule with that is once it hits the rim. Oh yeah, that's good. That's a good call. If it hits the rim and it's on its way up, you can knock it out. But once it's within the cylinder and it's on its way down, well, there's no point going for it. Brownlee turns it over. Hong Kong China have numbers. They're going to go all the way. Nice little finish in transition. And Tsai Choi Kwan goes up to 8 points. Well, you got to credit Hong Kong China converting turnovers into fast break points. But they still trail by 11. Well, Amos has missed his last 2 threes. Now he's 0 for 3. Now Hong Kong China again have numbers. That's Duncan Reed with him, and Kai Soto doesn't even leave the ground on that block. Does Kai Soto even jump off the ground? I think he does, but may have just been a couple of centimeters. Well, you gotta like the fact, though, that Hong Kong China still willing to push the ball quick in transition. Duncan Reed, old school post move. Oh, it's a nice move, but he's unable to finish. And that is something we've seen Duncan Reed do time and time again, whether he played in Zhejiang for the Chinese Basketball Association or for the Bay Area Dragons. He's a very old school textbook post player. He likes the back to the basket post down. .11 ball game. Now we're under 2 minutes. Brownlee patiently asking for a ball screen. Finds Newsom. Final seconds here on the shot clock. Brownlee's gonna have to force this one up. Pump fakes, bit of contact, no foul called, but it did hit the rim, so no 24-second violation. Well, you gotta go to Soto. Soto with a post up. Soto down the middle, goes in. Simply too much to handle. And again, you can criticize this man all you want. Motivation, his perseverance, but time and time again, he answers his critics. Another deep three go flying here for Hong Kong China, finding its way at the bottom of the net. Well, that's a big three because it does cut it back down to a 10-point game. It's now the 7th three-pointer for Hong Kong China. Well, this is good for them, considering the last game they had against Gilas. And the last game against Chinese Taipei only being down by 10. If they can keep it to this, maybe lower going into the halftime break, that will be a huge positive. That goes out of bounds. That's going to remain Gilas ball. Well, Duncan Reed really battling down there with the bigs. Change coming in as Young Sui Hung coming into the game. The youngster checking out of the game indeed is Tsai Choi Kwan, who is Hong Kong China's joint top scorer along with Leung Xiaohua. Thompson goes baseline. That's going to take another deflection with 8 seconds on the shot clock. Gilas ball on the baseline. 34 left here in the second quarter. Newsom now, got to make something happen. Soto, top of the key. Gets a foul, and that's a poor foul to give away, as Oliver Hsu inadvertently made contact with Kai Soto's arm. And those are the disappointing ones to give away, because you know it's going to be inevitable that Kai Soto, Juma Fajardo, Justin Brownlee, and probably Japeth Aguilar, when he gets in the game, they're most likely going to get fouled inside the paint. What you don't want to foul Soto is a contested shot from 17. Soto 10 points and now 1 rebound away already here in the first half from a double-double. But he has missed 5 free throws tonight. He's only 2 for 7. Well, this is a part of his game. As I mentioned, every great player has an Achilles heel. Some nights you see him have good free throw shooting nights. Last season when he played for Yokohama, that's 6 missed free throws. He made the 2 free throws in overtime that got the win for Yokohama against the Chiba Jets. So, unfortunately, it's an inconsistency for Kaiju. 3 seconds difference between game and shot clock. Hong Kong China looking to go down by single digits. Well, they got to make something happen. Duncan Reed misses last 3, and that's way off the mark. Well, final seconds. Thompson puts up a Hail Mary, and that's not going to go. Basketball fans, at the end of the first half here in the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, it is Gilas Pilipinas who lead this one 45-35 against Hong Kong China. We're live here at the Mall of Asia, the Great MOA, the venue of the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup Final. But at the moment, Gilas looking to go 4-0 here in the Asia Cup qualifiers. Well, we are going to look at some of the key statistics in this game, and indeed, Kai Soto, in fact, already has a double-double of 10 points and 10 rebounds. Well, he is leading the way so far along with Juma Fajardo, who also has 10. But Hong Kong China, 7 threes. That's one thing that's kept him in this one. after that big blowout defeat against Chinese Taipei. But you see the rebounding count, but that unfortunately was as expected. Gilas with 34. Well, there are your top scorers from the game. Kyle Tamayo also has 9, while Leung and Tsai leading the way for Hong Kong, China. Let's take a look at some of the key highlights from the first half. Well, there was the early three-point shooting coming from Hong Kong, China. Because CJ Perez doing what he does best, slashing at the basket, but it's the kind of move they need to keep going to. Park Yuen-Young, who only has 3 points tonight, with that one-handed free throw shooting style. And there was the 1 3-pointer coming from Kyle Tamayo. A nice penetration, getting the and one. Tsai Choi Kwan, one of their top scorers of 8 points. And Tamayo showing his beast nature. And that's what they want to see from the big fella. Transition points, something Hong Kong China's got to try to go with tonight. And Kai Soto, simply too much to handle. Well, there was another 3-pointer coming from Luong Xiaohua, the joint top scorer for Hong Kong China. Well, basketball fans, indeed, it is halftime at the moment. This is the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup Qualifiers. And we're live here at one of the best venues in international basketball, the Mall of Asia, the Great MOA. Well, as it is halftime, we'll advise you to go get a drink, go get something to eat, but don't go anywhere too long. We will be back live here on courtside 1891 in just under 12 minutes.
Can we get a winner tonight?
Education, health, justice. We sometimes take these simple things for granted. They're not common for all of us. We are all born on the same planet, but not with the same opportunities.
Whatever our gender, color, belief, or capability, we are one. We are all on the same team. Let's convince those who never thought they would do it that they can. We can. Together, we are stronger. No matter your origin, basketball can bring everyone together. Basketball for good.
Looks to bring it. Just drops and then transition for 2. And Darwich again.
And that's going to be good if it goes, and it does! Well, that silences the crowd, and a big-time pass, heads-up pass there by Bowen.
They have to get this away upstairs for the lob. Is good on the pass and the finish. Dickerson gets his first 2 points.
Oh, and here's the steal. Breakaway showtime. Throwing it down. Qatar on a run. Babaka. 5 points for him back to back. Rising up to the cup. Kaboom.
Here's Vodanovic on the burst, and how about the two-handed hammer from Soto? Gilas, Pilipinas pile driver, getting the fans on their feet, and Philippines up by 6. Chisholm looking for the handoff this time. Gets it back, nice play again, and the cram jam for Chisholm. And Bahrain in full flow and flying high, lead by 5. 17 the lead, and they're flying forward again. Big strong attack met at the rim for the 10-foot tall denial. Taylor Britt, oh my goodness! Taylor Britt taking all of the defense and the highlight play behind the vertebrae from the point guard.
Tucker picks up his dribble over to the right side. Dwyery in the middle. Oh, behind the back pass and the finish! What an acrobatic play there by Dwyery to get the pass to Abbas, who's fouled and will go to the line to shoot the N1.
Ross almost loses it. It's turned over. And again, China on the run. And again, it's that man, Zhengfang Bo, jamming it home. And I thought there might even be a chance for a quick heave at the end. But what a finish to that half from the Chinese.
That is unbelievable. These guys will be legends in their own country, but also in the international basketball world forever.
Welcome back, basketball fans. We're going to get ready for the second half of this 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifying matchup between our hosts, Gilas Filipinas and Hong Kong, China. Well, now we'll take a look at some of the key top scorers for the visitors. And so far, it's 8 points and 3 rebounds for this man, Tsai Choi Kwan, who is the joint top scorer along with Leung Xiaohua. Well, Hong Kong, China collectively tonight, 7 out of 19 from the three-point line. And that's something that's kept them in this ball game. Remember, it's been a tough road for them to the 31st edition of the FIBA Asia Cup, a competition that, well, of course, a double-double already for Kaiju. The man, of course, who had a double-double against New Zealand in that historic win here at the Mall of Asia. Already, Kyriem, but interestingly enough, could have 16 points if he made all his free throws. But every great player, as I mentioned, has an Achilles heel. He's 4 out of 10 from the field so far. Because he's made a name for himself playing in the Japanese B-League with the Hiroshima Dragonflies, the Yokohama B Corsairs, and now this season with the Koshigaya Alphas. Well, Gilas, just like Hong Kong, China, 2 joint top scorers. Not only does Kai Soto have 10 points, but Juma Fajardo as well, 5 rebounds shy of a double-double. Of course, Tim Cone, one of the most infamous coaches in the history of Filipino basketball, the head coach of Barangay Ginebra, coaching some of his top players. Scotty Thompson, of course, is his go-to point guard here in Gilas Filipinas, naturally retaining his starting position on a regular basis. And Juma Fajardo as well, the 10-time PBA champion, as well as the 8-time PBA most valuable player. Not to mention, you've also got Barangay Ginebra players of Japeth Aguilar and Justin Brownlee. All 4 players, unfortunately, did lose in the recent PBA championship to TNT Tropang Giga. Something I'm not sure Calvin Oftana is going to happily talk about here in the training camp with his Gilas teammates. Well, again, it is still halftime as we're waiting for the players to return. Already, the Hong Kong, China players coming out to the floor. Well, for them, what's worked and what's kept them in this game has been the perimeter shooting. Because if they had missed 4 or 5 of those three-pointers, this would be a very much a tough game for them to try and hang in there. But to only be down by 10 points, that is a positive for them. Duncan Reed, the most experienced player for Hong Kong, China, currently still in this game. He's played 17 minutes and hasn't scored, but he does have 3 rebounds. But they are led by that man, Well, both Tsai Choi Kwan, as you saw in the highlights, along with number 6, Leong Xiaohua, a combined total between them of 16 at 8 points each. Because many of these Hong Kong China players do play in their domestic league. And most of them actually play for the Hong Kong Eastern Long Lions. Well, the likes of Duncan Reed, that man has had a bit more experience playing in the Chinese Basketball Association and also played for the Bay Area Dragons. And no doubt many of these Filipino fans here at the MOA are used to seeing him when he played in that epic final against Ginebra back in 2023. Well, it was a very tough game for them. The last previous one in which they lost emphatically to Chinese Taipei. And in that game, they were led by Oliver Xu. There is Kaiju. Still no Dwight Ramos tonight, which is interesting. Because Ramos, like Kai Soto, after this window, will be returning back to Japan to play in the B-League. Dwight Ramos now still with Hokkaido Lavenga team. Currently as it stands, fighting to avoid relegation. While that man, Karl Tamayo, did play in the Japanese B-League for the Ruku Golden Kings. And he won a B-League championship, defeating the Chiba Jets in the final. But then now is playing in the Korean Basketball League. Because that is one of the top premier professional basketball leagues in the world, especially if you're an import player. On Tsai Choi Kwan, number 27 for Hong Kong China, also had 8 points in their defeat against Chinese Taipei. So he's currently at his average. Ricky Yang in that game had 7 points. And Marco Luong Ka-hin, who came off the bench tonight, he chipped in 6. Well, he has been the big talking point for Gilas Pilipinas, especially over the last few seasons. You have to remember, at the FIBA Basketball World Cup, he was playing through a back injury that he did sustain going into the 2023-24 B-League season, in which he was signed with the Hiroshima Dragonflies, but then put on loan to Yokohama B Corsairs, where he was teammates with one Yuki Kawamura, who's currently with the Memphis Grizzlies G League team, the Memphis Hustles. Because coming from a basketball family where his father played for the great NLEX Road Warriors in the PBA, and it was only destined, him like the Ravenna brothers, both Kiefer and 30, both their fathers, PBA legends back in their day. But I would say this, and many would agree. Some would disagree. Juma Fajardo, arguably the greatest player in the history of the Philippine Basketball Association, 10-time champion, 8-time most valuable player. Well, the debate is great, but the stats don't lie when it comes to the Kraken, Juma Fajardo. And there is a player that many consider to be the future of Gilas Pilipinas, Kevin Kimbao. Of course, played in the infamous university program in the Philippines, the UAAP. And Mason Amos quietly tonight 0 for 4 from the field. He's had 3 3-point attempts, but he does have 2 rebounds. Well, use that QR code and download the official FIBA Asia Cup app. Use the app to follow the best news, highlights, and stats that matter to you most. Download that QR code and use the app to follow your team's journey from the qualifiers right up until the 31st edition of this summer's 2025 FIBA Asia Cup that will be hosted in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Well, we're going to Jeddah this summer. If the Philippines win tonight and New Zealand defeat Chinese Taipei tomorrow, Gilas will book their tickets. The last time Gilas Pilipinas won the FIBA Asia Cup, as I said in the first half, was back in 1985, defeating South Korea in the final in Kuala Lumpur, Asia. The FIBA Asia Cup began in 1960, and it was hosted in this city. And I'd like to say it's probably one of the basketball capitals of the world, Manila. They won 4 out of the first 7 FIBA Asia Cups, splitting with Japan and Korea. Well, Gilas are going to go with a very similar style and lineup as Scotty Thompson at the point guard with Calvin Aftana at small forward. Kai Soto as well will be the big man. I'm not quite sure if we did see Juma Fajardo come out the lineup. But Kaiju has a double. There he is, yeah. So he is currently 5 rebounds away from a double-double. Well, this is great to see. You've got PBA and B-League players on the floor. What's interesting, Thompson, Jimar Fajardo, oh, excuse me, not Fajardo, he plays with San Miguel, but also Brownlee on the floor here with Calvin Oftana. Those players competed in an epic PBA final most recently. Fajardo made one the first half, makes another one. Deja vu. Same spot, different end of the floor. The 8-time PBA most valuable player. 12 points for Jimar Fajardo, now the top scorer for Gilas. Looking for that 8 3-pointer, but that's not going to go. But Duncan Reed does enough. Now, why? Why did Ricky Yang let that one go out of bounds? And that's disappointing because Duncan Reed battles to get the second chance 50-50, and you never take that gamble. Always go for it when you're unsure. Thompson. Almost looks like a Spanish pick and roll and a dump down to Fajardo. 12 points. Fumbles, and that's good collapse defense coming from Hong Kong, China, collapsing and making everything a little bit congested inside their own paints. Well, he was quoted as saying in the press, still great things to come from this Gilas Pilipinas team. They made history this summer, the FIBA OQT, putting the world on notice. And again, with a historic win against New Zealand here at the MOA. Well, they go for another tray ball. That one's a little too short. Gilas happy to slow down the tempo. Fajardo getting a handoff. Now the ball reversal. Here's where the triangle offense comes into play. Fajardo, quick turnaround. Doesn't get it, but it goes out of bounds. Slow start so far here for Gilas Pilipinas. Only 2 points scored so far here in the second half. You just got to love the energy that Calvin Oftana brings to this team. Reed goes in. Oh, that's a good look, but he's got to try to finish that. But in the end, Kai Soto off balance. So Hong Kong, China will get it back on the baseline. Fresh 14 seconds on the shot clock for Hong Kong, China. Now here comes the post up, trying to find some separation. Nice move, but unable to finish. So Oftana finds Thompson. Down low to Kai Soto. Well, nice dish out, finds Calvin Oftana. The foul is going to be called, I believe, here against Yip Yopong. Why have they called this one against Gilas? Oh, it's on Kai Soto. Well, let's have a look at the replay. Yeah, it's a push in the back, I think. Yeah, Kai Soto just holding on to the shoulders, so my apologies to Yip Yopong. Well, nice play goes in. Duncan Reed knew that Soto was coming over, and maybe Duncan Reed probably could have given it a pump fake. But you got to like that, though. Hong Kong, China trying to get the ball inside the paint. Respectfully, Gilas still on the high of defeating New Zealand, but you've got to give credit to Hong Kong, China. They're doing everything they can in the moment. They're hanging in there. Oftana turns it over. Now it's a 3-on-2. They got to take advantage, but they're going to go for a 3, and the 3 is good. 3-pointer number 8 for Hong Kong, China. And now he takes his tally up to 11 points. That's Leong Xiaohua. Was the joint top scorer at the end of the first half. Thompson down the middle. Finds Soto. Oh, baby! Kaiju! Well, he didn't even need to take a step on that one. That was effortless. Mid-range no good. Gilas looking to extend that double-digit lead. That's the 34th point in the paint. The previous dunk from Kai Soto. It's now Brownlee. Penetrates, goes in, and he gets fouled. So JB going to the free throw line. All right here, Kai Soto. Kaiju, Kaireem, Throw it down, Kaiju. Throw it down. This man didn't even need to take a step. Well, Justin Brownlee currently at the free throw line here for Gilas Pilipinas. Of course, an absolute fan favorite here in the Philippines. Started at junior college at Chipola, then went to St. John's. Wherever he's gone, he's been a winner. He's played in France, Lebanon, Indonesia, Philippines. The only way you can describe Justin Brownlee is championship DNA. Well, the criticism for Hong Kong, only 3 free throws, but the amount of missed free throws from Gilas Pilipinas has been too many. Well, nice backdoor play, got to go up with it. And that is where the insurance policy of Kai Soto's rim protection comes into play. Brownlee down low to Juma Fajardo. Finds Thompson. Time, space. 3 is up. 3 is good. The Barangay Ginebra legend making it now a 16-point ball game. It's now Reed. Well, he has the post matchup here. But now he catches that at an awkward angle. Good defense by Justin Brownlee. Fajardo comes over for the double team, forcing the turnover. Gilas lead him by 16. And right there, they had no choice but to foul. Well, that foul's on Leong Showa. Well, there's a three-pointer by Scotty Thompson. And again, Leong Showa just giving too much time and space, and that's way too much respect to the former PBA MVP. Soto in the paint, big rebound coming. The jump ball's gonna be cool, but Hong Kong, China will get this one back. Well, there's the baseline penetration. He got a kick out. Now a ball reversal. But can Hong Kong, China build something? Tries to go in with a step through, and the foul's going to be called. So 2 free throws coming up for Hong Kong, China. This one's on Calvin Aftana. Well, Yip Yu Pong, of course, did play in the FIBA Basketball Champions League Asia qualifiers, where he did average 7.3 points per game with just under 4 rebounds. Another player who represents Hong Kong Eastern Long Lions. Well, he started his national team journey with the under-16s back in 2015. As he makes a second free throw. 14-point lead to Gilas. Under 5 minutes here in the third quarter. Remember, a victory right now wouldn't necessarily automatically mean they qualify for the Asia Cup. They still have to wait for how results depend tomorrow between Chinese Taipei and New Zealand. There's Ricky Yang committing the foul due to the enormous mismatch defending Justin Brownlee. And that's no disrespect, because I think any defender who goes up against JB is going to find that situation. Justin Brownlee, possibly one of the most complicated players to defend in international basketball. Mr. Kakikatsu just having a kind reminder with our players to keep it clean. Soto misses this one. Hong Kong, China with numbers. Goes for spin out, kicks this one out. Good ball reversal. Well, someone's got to shoot it. 3 is up. And it, wow, that's got it. Wow. Okay. Looked like he was in the cylinder. That was a beautiful team play by Hong Kong, China. Soto just takes a few steps as Juma Fajardo kicks out. Thompson's going to keep this one alive. Takes a dribble. He's got Brownlee on the kick out. Finds JB. The Barangay Ginebra connection. But the 3 no good. Well, I don't think Hong Kong China want to pick up another assist, but Juma Fajardo will definitely happily take the points. It's now Duncan Reed still now looking for that first field goal. I mean, he doesn't have any points, but you can't say he hasn't played well tonight. He's given everything. Soto takes a three. It's not going to go. Reed looking to penetrate, kicks out, finds Ricky Yang. He'll fire another one. Scotty Thompson sprinting ahead, even through the euphoria of beating New Zealand and the emotional, physical, mental fatigue for both these two teams. You have to appreciate the never say die attitude with Scotty Thompson. Using Jumar as a ball screen, pulls up in the mid-range. The bank is open, and now it's an 18-point lead. Biggest lead of the game for Gilas Filipinas, as Hong Kong China have to call timeout with 3:12 to go here in the third quarter. Well, right there, I don't think Ricky wants the assist, but Jumar, he'll take the points. Right here, Duncan Reed. Unfortunately, that's a case Ricky Yang's got to fight around the screen, because Duncan Reed, if he commits to Thompson, Jumar Fajardo's wide open. So better communication needed on defense. Let's listen now to the Hong Kong China coaching staff. Well, definitely they've got to figure out how to defend the Scotty Thompson pick and roll with the Kraken Jumar Fajardo, because you cannot allow the two-time most valuable player of the PBA to just have a right here. Yang's got to fight around it. Duncan Reed can't overcommit it, because as I mentioned, Jumar's going to be wide open, and it cannot be that easy off the bank. Thompson 5 points, 2 assists, and 3 rebounds already this evening with just over 3 minutes to go here in the third. Look at that night three-pointer. Well, you got to appreciate that offensive board. Those are the second chances that Hong Kong China has got to play with. Well, they go for a pick and pop sequence. Again, no good. Soto's able to secure the rebound this time for Gilas. Well, they have a man down. Newsom finds Soto, goes in. Sharing is caring. Gilas Filipinas style. Well, that is team basketball exemplified at the very best. It's 20-point difference between these two teams. Still Hong Kong China winless here in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Well, I don't think the extra no-look pass was needed. Think at that moment. Well, Yip Yopong only has 3 points. Look at that. Sharing is caring. That's team basketball. Thompson finds Brownlee. Newsom goes down to Kai Soto. Nice pass again. Are you kidding me? Deja vu moments. And again, Kai Soto getting another assist. Finding Brownlee cutting to the bucket. Hong Kong China firing up another three, and again, it's way off the mark. It's Kim Bao checking back into the lineup here for Gilas. Now Gilas happy to pass the ball around. Finding Kim Bao. On the top to step out of bounds. It doesn't matter. The two-time PBA most valuable player drilling the tray ball. And all of a sudden, the 10-point lead is stretched to 25. 8 points tonight for Scotty Thompson. It's Kyle Tamayo getting ready to come back in the game. Another turnover. Well, here we go, Brownlee. Brownlee goes in, simple Euro step as he makes it a 27-point deficit. And it's becoming a calamity here in the last few minutes of the third quarter for Hong Kong China. Marco Leon Cahun was waiting for the ball screen and didn't get it to him. And when they make those penetrations, that's when they need someone to flash to the corner. Because they've had a few times they've been able to get inside the paint, but the rest of the players cannot afford to be static. You've got to give them an option. 19 seconds difference between game and shot clock here for Gilas. Kim Bao, he'll fire a three. That one's up. No good. I think that's going to remain Gilas ball. Yeah, now with 7 seconds difference. Look at this. Team basketball yet again. Brownlee cuts. Kaiju gets the dime. And Thompson sinks the tray ball from the corner. Well, now Gilas Pilipinas will call timeout as they currently lead this one against Hong Kong China. But they will have a baseline possession with 7 seconds difference between game and shot clock. This is the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup Qualifiers. Let's go down and listen to the Gilas Pilipinas coaching staff.
What side are we on? Kevin, Scotty, Lou. Sorry, Kevin, you're over here. Lou, Paul, and Kai. All right. So, Lou, you're coming through, so you can get off the hard run right there. And first pass right there with up screen for Carl. Alright. Carl dive. Kai screen. Come out, get it. And look for Kai in the seal right there. Alright.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of set they come out with from this timeout. 21.6 left with 14 on the shot clock for Gilas Pilipinas. What was once a 10-point deficit where Hong Kong China rallied to stay in this game now has become a 27-point ball game in favor of Tim Cohn's players. They got to try to defend this inbound. Thompson will inbound this. Finds Kim Powell on the lob pass. Tamayo made 1-3, thought about it. Goes to separation from the mid-range. Back iron, but Hong Kong China come up with this. They only have 10 seconds to get one last shot here before we head into the final 10. What can they build? The foul's called on the ground. You can hear the officials saying no shot. So that is going to be only the 13th foul against Gilas here in the third quarter. Not too much concern, but I'm sure Tim Cohn would have appreciated his team giving away free throws. But 1.8 as now Oliver Shu will inbound this. Well, they got to go quickly. Shu off the catch, takes a three off the bank. The bank is open. Well, they may be down by 24 points. But that's still positive to end the third quarter. Off the handoff. Took that one from Causeway Bay. Landed it all the way here in Manila. Oh, he got it off in time. It's good. As soon as it hit the bank, you say count it. We're heading into the final 10. 24-point deficit still for Hong Kong China. Gilas, 10 minutes away potentially from staying undefeated here in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. We definitely got it off in time. Gives you reminiscent feelings of one Jason Castro, the Blur, one of the greatest players in the history of the PBA. Took a similar shot, but the ball was still in his hand at 0 seconds. But the rule must be, it's when the red light comes on, whether the play gets off in time. In that case, Oliver Shu, no problem. He has 8 points this evening. Hong Kong China 9 out of 27 from the three-point line. But as mentioned, still a mountain to climb back for 10 minutes as they're down by 27. Well, if there's only one thing you could probably criticize Gilas Pilipinas, it's been the free throws tonight. But remember, this team only a few nights ago made history defeating New Zealand for the first time here in the Mall of Asia, the Great Moa. We can see Adj Kwame right behind the bench. Well, that's represented the national team before, but now let's take a look at some of the key highlights from the third quarter. Well, Jumar Fajardo started the second half with a deja vu moment, hitting the 15-foot pick and pop jump shot. And Hong Kong China, well, they rallied here in the third. They kept it to as low as 10, but Kai Reem with a two-handed rim rocker. Well, he makes that look so easy. Scotty Thompson hitting the three-pointer, had two here in the third. now has 8 points. In the case of Ricky Yang, probably doesn't want to pick up the assist. Well, Thompson again coming off the ball screen. Nice play again, the 1-2 between Justin Brownlee and Kai Soto. And there was the final three from Oliver Hsu, the former Rice University NCAA player, born and raised in New York City, but made in Hong Kong, China. Well, now we head into the final 10 minutes, the final game for these two teams here in the second window of the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Well, basketball fans watching live here on Courtside 1891, use that QR code to download Courtside 1891 on your smartphone, tablet, or Android to get the best streams, schedules, and scores. Courtside 1891, the home of FIBA International Basketball. Well, a bit of Spanish pick and roll, finding Japov Aguilar. Well, missed it, gets his own rebound. We gotta love the Spain action, the stack screen. Something Tim Cone, of course, the last few seasons has implemented in his offense, along with the triangle set at Barangay Ginebra. Duncan Reed goes in with the hook, can't get it. Japov Aguilar securing the rebound for Gilas. We have Newsom, Thompson, Aguilar, Kim Bao, and Carl Tamayo currently on the floor for Gilas Filipinas. Kim Bao wide open, drills a three-pointer, back to a 27-point lead to Gilas. The LaSalle superstar feels used to wearing that green and gold when he plays in the UAAP here in the Philippines, yet to make his professional debut. Well, it's going to be a traveling violation. Why not shoot it? Park Yue Young was wide open. Look how much time. Well, here's the three-pointer by Kevin Kim Bao. Heavy defense coming from Oliver Hsu, does have 8 points. Japov Aguilar goes baseline. Finds Tamayo. Kim Bao's wide open. Tamayo goes in, gets rejected. Final seconds, Thompson's got to force this one up. Doesn't get it. Well, everything's got to be about pride now for Hong Kong, China. Nice penetration, nice move, good finish. And Oliver Hsu becomes the second Hong Kong, China player to go into double digits. He has 10 points tonight. Just under 2 minutes played here in the fourth quarter. Gilas happy to go through the motions. Newsom down the middle. Finds Aguilar. Tamayo, he'll fire the three. That's up, and it's good. 28-point deficit. Second three-pointer for Carl Tamayo. We can definitely see the fatigue in both of these two teams. Tamayo with 12 points so far this evening. Well, Tamayo, Brownlee, Chima Fajardo, Kai Soto, 4 players in double digits for Gilas. Another turnover. Gilas have numbers. It's got Kim Bao. The Thompson goes. I don't know. Somebody needs to tell me if Scotty Thompson's going to pick up the assist or if Carl Tamayo is going to pick up the rebound. That is going to be the biggest mystery of this game. And look at L.A. Tenorio. There's a three-pointer by Tamayo. Even Tenorio finds it funny. Right here. Is this a dime or a shot? I think that's going to be assist to Scotty Thompson, but Tamayo finishes now. He has 14 points. I don't know, I think Thompson's trying to lay that one up. But nonetheless, 30-point lead to the Philippines. Well, we're going to go down and listen to what the Hong Kong China coaches have to say. Well, great performance so far. Now Kyle Tamayo, joint top scorer along with Juma Fajardo. Fajardo 2 rebounds away from a potential double-double. And so far, Kyle Tamayo along with Scotty Thompson, both players with the most three-pointers each here for Gilas Filipinas. And as a look at that previous play, the lob, I don't know if it's a lob or a missed attempt, but I have to go and read the stats if Tamayo got the rebound or Thompson got the assist. But another foul committed, so Oliver Shue will go to the free throw line. Well, Oliver Shue, as you mentioned, born in New York City to parents from Hong Kong, grew up in Queens, New York City, and played a total of 14 games across his NCAA career with Rice University. He's a member of Hong Kong Eastern Long Lions. We're in the Asian League at 19 games, averaged just under 6 points per game, but you know, he has been probably one of their better players in the backcourt, one of their go-to scoring options. As he missed both free throws. And Duncan Reed getting the putback and finally getting his first 2 points of the game. Well, he's deserved it for sure because, you know, he's had to really battle tonight against the likes of both Juma Fajardo and Kai Soto. Perez gets a hand in, goes in with a wraparound layup. Nice move by CJ Perez. Well, we have a slight issue with the shot clock, which our officials are just gonna pause game to make sure they do sort out at the moment. Well, he made that nostalgic three-pointer against New Zealand. Many would say the same space, or the same location Jimmy Alapag made the big three against Korea in the semifinals of the 2013 FIBA Asia Cup. And it was indeed that three-pointer by Newsom that more or less put the nail in the coffin for that historic win for the Philippines. Hong Kong, China, down by 30. Going for a tough fadeaway. Hand his face no good, but Perez gets the rebound. Perez goes all the way, uncontested, coast to coast, CJ Perez. Well, nobody came out to stop him. Well, he plays with such explosive energy in the open floor. And now Gilas have 48 points inside the paint. Another turnover. Well, Hong Kong, China, fair to say, for 3 quarters, they played very well. Definitely, they took a lot of inspiration from their three-point shooting tonight, but there's only so much you can ask of this team, especially against one of the uprising teams here in international basketball, Gilas Filipinas. Well, that's going to be a turnover. Good defense. Great closeout by Tang Chi-hung, who's only played 2 minutes so far here. And look at CJ Perez. I mean, you got Tang, you got Duncan Reed. Somebody's got to come out and stop him. The 2 rules of transition defense. Number 1, get back. Number 2, stop the ball. Oliver Shue now defended by Japeth Aguilar on the switch. Sai Choi Kwan goes in with a penetration, can't finish. Duncan Reed battling for second chances, keeps this one alive. Well, they're getting a few options from the perimeter, but in the end, it's going to be Newsom who commits the foul. A little bit of a USA battle there. New Mexico. I think we're going to get a substitution pretty soon. Well, coming back in the game, Amos. Listen to the standing ovation he gets from the MOA tonight as Japeth Aguilar will go to the bench, take a breather. Finding Duncan Reed, catching at a tough angle and a nice finish. Well, that's what you've seen him do in the Chinese Basketball Association, and he did it here in the PBA that one season with the Bay Area Dragons. And he's worked as hard as anyone could here tonight for Hong Kong, China. Now Tamayo going for a post-up. Kim Bao unable to keep this one in bounds, so we'll be Hong Kong, China ball with 4:33. Well, I think we're going to get another change coming. You can just hear from the reaction. You got to love the atmosphere here in the MOA. Well, I don't know if a change is coming or not. I don't see anybody going to the bench. Nice play, gets rejected. Wow, Newsom with the denial. Well, this is Morocco Bolts saying, get out of here, goodbye. Seven on the shot clock, got to get something going. Sai Choi Kwan makes a penetration, avoids the block, but can't get it. Wow, we got an ankle breaker. Perez down the middle, finds Newsom, goes in. What a bit of showtime, Gilas. Filipinas basketball. Well, the ankle breaker just made that a little bit extra for everybody here at the MOA, the 20,000 fans, to get their money's worth. Well, nice seal-off by Duncan Reed. Well, again, he likes to play that old traditional, old school style of post play. And again, we have another issue here with the shot clock. It hasn't been reset. I'm not sure if the crowd is asking Tim Cone to bring in another player. We haven't seen Dwight Ramos this evening. I think you hear it from the crowd. We want Dwight. 3:41. I think, yeah, they want Dwight Ramos. They want Dwight Ramos in the game. Look what it means to him in the crowd as Ricky Yang comes back in. Well, Dwight Ramos having a great career in the Japanese B-League. Of course, played in the UAAP here in the Philippines after a stint in the NCAA in the USA. Played for Antonell. What a play. CJ Perez unable to finish. Well, they're cool for Dwight, but I don't know if Tim Cone's going to bring him in. Well, he is just a legend. Man who grew up here in the Philippines. Very well respected. I think the fans still calling for Dwight Ramos. Well, Tim Cone's thinking about it. Well, Takaki Kato, a head referee, I think is just double checking that everything's okay with the shot clock. So there's going to be 2.4 left. Well, a big shout out to our three referees tonight. Takaki Kato from Japan, Haruga Iwai also from Japan, and from Singapore, we have Chuen Wing Leong. I'm pretty sure Tim Cone is looking at the table. I don't think he's considering bringing in Dwight Ramos. Well, again, all of our three FIBA referees have officiated at the very highest level, from FIBA Asia Cups, Olympic qualifiers, FIBA Basketball World Cups, and some of them, as we mentioned, in the likes of Takaki Kato, made it to the Paris Olympics this summer. That just goes to show the caliber of every FIBA referee. Well, deep three up. That's going to be... Well, they did reset back to 14. There's a pump fake. Goes for another tray ball. Gilas happy to see that one bounce out of bounds. Well, that three, of course, taken by Leong Showa, who did have 8 points at the end of the first half, but now only 3 points here in the second. And, of course, a team like Hong Kong, China, as we mentioned, it is about building for the future, but they've got to take little moral victories within this game. To be only down by 10 points at the end of the first half, that was one. The three-point shooting is definitely something they can build on. So again, we just have a minor issue. We do apologize to all of our fans watching live on Courtside 1891. Just a minor technical difficulties we are having with the game shot clock. But I think we're ready to get this one back underway. Well, young Sui Hung coming back into the game, another young prospect for this national team. As Leong Xiaohua's night is over, 2 rebounds and 1 assist to go along with his 11 points. 2 players in double figures tonight for Hong Kong, China, the other one being Oliver Hsu. Perez penetrates, goes in, doesn't get the and one, but he will go back to the free throw line. Well, interesting about CJ Perez, he was actually born in Hong Kong, China. He was born in Kowloon at that time, in 1993. Of course, then moved to the Philippines and was drafted in the Philippine Basketball Association by terra firma. They're known as Colombian Jip. Of course, transferred to San Miguel Bierman, one of the greatest teams in the PBA, where he's now teammates with Gilmar Fajardo. Indeed has played at 2 FIBA Basketball World Cups. 2-time PBA champion and the 2023-24 PBA Commissioner's Cup Finals MVP as he misses the second free throw. Well, Gilas missing 8 free throws. Not that it has little effect on this game. It's probably the only one thing you could talk about is Oliver Shue felt he got fouled, but it's going to be another Hong Kong-China turnover. Well, both teams, I think, waiting for the final minutes to be taken off. It's been a very good window for Gilas Pilipinas. And as mentioned already, a win tonight for Gilas won't necessarily automatically mean they've qualified for the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup. They'll still have to wait to see how New Zealand go against Chinese Taipei. Hong Kong, China sitting in a 2-3 zone defense. Paris, 3. Gets it to roll in. Uiana. Hayab Panis. That might be the nail in the coffin, the cream off the cake, if you like. 34-point lead. Oliver Shue looking to take his tally up as he hits another one. It's actually Ricky Yang, my apologies. Yang hitting another tray ball. Only cutting it down to a 30-point deficit. 10 3-pointers tonight for Hong Kong, China. Tamayo against his own on the baseline. Simply automatic. And that's a part of his game. We've seen a big improvement from his time in the B-League and now in the Korean Basketball League. His mid-range. Foul's going to be called. It's going to be the 3rd team foul against Gilas Pilipinas. Well, Tamayo is actually the leading scorer. Uiana Hayab Panis, as they would say here on the streets of Manila. 1 of 3. And that was Ricky Yang responding. Both players exchanging 3-point buckets. Well, Yang go for another one. Trying to use the backboard. CJ Paris patiently just dribbling this one over the half court. Kim Bao, he'll fire another one. Well, second tray ball for Kevin Kim Bao. That's a huge positive for him to take away from this game. 36-point lead. Kim Bao, 8 points so far this evening. As the penetration goes baseline, gets rejected. Well, Mason just said, not in my house. Paris fakes. Under a minute to go. Paris now nowhere to go. Finds Tamayo. He'll fire the 3, can't get it. Kim Bao battles for the offensive board. Amos, corner. Magandanga B Manila. That is for you. Big time 3 by Amos. 39-point lead to the Philippines. Hong Kong, China turn it over again. No incentive for Gilas to score again, other than the fact that there's still time between both shot clock and game clock. But I think the respect is going to be paid by Chris Newsom. The sportsmanship, the admiration, the homage he's going to pay to his opponent. He's not going to go for a final play. While Gilas Pilipinas are going to win this one 93-54. 24-second violation has been called, so Hong Kong, China will get this one back with 3.8. Well, basketball fans watching live on courtside 1891, Gilas Pilipinas remain undefeated here in the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. We'll wait tomorrow to find out if New Zealand will win against Chinese Taipei. And if they do, Gilas will already have booked their tickets to the Asia Cup this summer in Saudi Arabia. A big performance tonight from the Gilas players. In the end, 5 Gilas Pilipinas players getting in double figures, excuse me. While for Hong Kong, China, it was only 2 tonight. But in the end, an emphatic victory for the only team undefeated. A historic win here the other night against New Zealand. It was Gilas' first win against the Kiwis. one final window, but they may not need that window to qualify. Remember, if New Zealand wins tomorrow against Chinese Taipei, Gilas are on their way already to the FIBA Asia Cup. A country that's won 5 times the FIBA Asia Cup. They won the inaugural one back in 1960, winning 4 out of the first 7 Asia Cups. The last one they won was in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia in 1985. And this summer, Tim Cone and Gilas Pilipinas, they plan to bring home a 6th FIBA Asia Cup championship. Well, now it's time to go and look at the highlights from this magnificent win from the Philippines. Well, you see the respect paid by the Gilas players to the Hong Kong Chinese players as well. They came here, they battled. That's all they could ask for. They gave it everything. It's just fair to say they're up against a very good national basketball team, and that is Gilas Pilipinas. And even though they won, they allowed the Hong Kong China players to go to center court. That's respect, that's homage, that's empathy at the very highest. They may be undefeated, but they win with class. And it's no longer a team about one individual. Now it's a collective team. Synergy, that is the true definition of what Tim Cone has put together with Gilas Pilipinas. Maybe, just maybe, a 6th FIBA Asia Cup championship is coming home to Manila. They'll have to take it away from Australia. They'll have to battle against Korea, Japan, New Zealand, Lebanon as well. You can't take away West Asia. Jordan, Syria, they'll all be in consideration. It's going to be possibly the greatest FIBA Asia Cup this summer. But Gilas Pilipinas will have to wait one more day. If New Zealand defeats Chinese Taipei, well, they're already heading to Saudi Arabia this summer. And remember, you can watch it live on Courtside 1891. No Dwight Ramos tonight, but you can see he's definitely feeling the humility of the love and admiration from the fans here. The 20,000 spectators at the Mall of Asia, the great MOA, one of the greatest arenas in international basketball. Well, it was this arena that held the exciting, magnificent final of the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup, in which Germany won their first championship against Serbia. Jamie Malonzo, along with Ange Kwame here tonight, they didn't suit up. Well, 2 3-pointers tonight for Kevin Kimball, but, you know, Hong Kong, China, they had their moments. They remain competitive, led by players such as Oliver Hsu and Leong Xiaohua. But a great performance from top scorer Kyle Tamayo, and look at the wraparound finger roll coming from CJ Perez. Well, there was Perez going coast to coast. Nobody coming out to stop him. And there was Duncan Reed, 6 good points in the 4th quarter. And he worked hard tonight. He gave it everything. And the conversion from turnovers into transition points. Perez finding Chris Newsom, and another finish there by Duncan Reed. But there was a 3 coming from Perez, getting the roll in. Well, Kim Bao getting 2 out of 3 from the perimeter. Huge positive for the 200-centimeter small forward. And Amos getting his one, and that called the cigar. Well, basketball fans, again, a magnificent victory as Gilas Pilipinas remain undefeated here in the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Unfortunately for Hong Kong, China, still without a victory. But we'll have to wait to see how results go tomorrow. If New Zealand wins against Chinese Taipei, Gilas will qualify. Well, to all of our fans watching live here on Courtside 1891, we thank you for joining us here at the Mall of Asia, the great MOA. It's all over tonight. Gilas Pilipinas, excuse me. As you can see, they top the group with 4 wins and 0 losses, followed up by New Zealand. So both New Zealand and the Philippines will qualify depending how the Kiwis do tomorrow against Chinese Taipei. There are your standings. That game live tomorrow. Of course, 2 p.m. local time in New Zealand, live on Courtside 1891. Again, fans, we would like to say a big thank you for joining us. But for now, it's goodbye and God bless. More games live here on Courtside 1891, the FIBA Continental Qualifiers.